Garrett Blevins here with an overview of weeks 7 and 6 out from the Arnold Sports Festival. You'll have noticed in the intro an additional logo. I am now officially sponsored by SBD, though as many of you know, I have used their products for as long as I can pretty much remember since they came out, and I became aware of them. Have always really liked their knee sleeves. I still think they're the best knee sleeves out there, and I'm very happy to be supported by them. The reason for that is that I'm also going to the IPF Classic Worlds this year, and that's going to be in Belarus, and I'm stoked. I've been trying to get into that for a long time, have come close at Nationals twice now, but I began, I think I've been in 3 Nationals now, so I haven't been waiting that long, but it sure feels like a long time. But I've been second 2 years, and finally got called up as the alternate to go because I had finished high enough. On this rep here, you see me kind of looking at the bar. Almost fell over when I unracked the weight. It was just in a really weird spot on my back. So I knew I had to come up to 675. I corrected my rack position for this rep, and it moved really well. Very happy with this. Those of you on Instagram have already seen this rep and have also seen the comparison video if you're interested in it. You can go into my Instagram and see it, but that moved at exactly pretty much the same speed as 660 did the 2 weeks previous to this. When I did a triple with 660, that rep of 675 moved at the same speed. Bench has been feeling a little but that 405 for 3 went really well. And then here 440 for 3. It exceeded the RPE that I wanted it to be at, but also I still felt like it moved pretty well. Was happy with it overall, and so just going to keep dialing my bench in and dealing with a little bit of achy shoulder type stuff that just comes along with lifting heavy. I'm trying to learn how to manage the amount of squatting that I'm doing and the weights that I'm squatting, and still have my bench do well also. And sometimes it's just hard for all that to work together. Even the tightness I feel in my chest from deadlifting ends up impacting my benching as well. So pecs and shoulders are just getting a lot of taxing right now. 675 moved well. Was happy about that. And here you see 705. Was very happy about this. It was a little slow off the floor, but once I hit the groove, it moved well. Very happy about that 705. And you'll see in the next week how things go with deadlift. But did some back off work with 655 and also 605. I'm trying to make sure I don't drop all the volume out of my program yet. Still 7 weeks out, so you can't go, completely low volume. You don't want to peak too early. So I'm still trying to keep my body fatigued going into these days where I'm doing these singles, and still have back off work in those days as well. So can't just cut it all out. But in any case, this is week 6 coming in here. Have some of my squat warm-ups. Try to be as consistent as possible and treat even my warm-ups very seriously. But was definitely feeling pretty good this day, all things considered. I had been I deloaded the week before this a little bit, and so I was definitely feeling a little bit of that bump, and decided to push things a little bit above on both squats and deadlifts. So you see here 695. Walkout was a little shaky, but ended up getting into a really strong position. Got the weight settled. And this weight actually moved at exactly the same speed as 675 the week before. And honestly, because I didn't have that weird 655 misgroove like I had the week before, that 695 felt a lot easier. It did move at the same speed, but should be able to go over 700 next week if everything continues and recovery is on point, and continue pushing up by about 10 or 15 pounds each week. And I don't know. I'll have to see where where the speed starts to taper off and where things start to get hard. But they haven't quite gotten there yet on squats. So squats definitely moving well and doing well this training cycle. Finished off, as you see here, with some back off work again. Same reason as with the triples on deadlift. Got to make sure that I'm still getting volume in because I need to be fatiguing my body, not just priming my central nervous system for max lifts. It's not time to peak yet. And even though I'm hitting weights that I would usually only normally be able to hit when I'm peaked, I am not peaked yet. Did some singles on this day with bench. I moved down from triples since that 440 was pretty hard. Ended up going 460 here. I toyed with the idea of 465, but as it turns out, I don't have 2 10s to go on each side, so I can't do 465. And it was probably a good call to go 460. It moved okay, and I was happy with it. Got lazy on these sumo warm-ups, didn't put in the weight here, but somewhere around 5:15 leading up to, that'd be 6:05 right there, and then 6:55. Again, those red plates are an extra 10 pounds each, so that's why the weights look a little different than you might be used to, but 690 right here, moved really well, just felt really easy, and this is also the first time I've ever used a lever belt, but it was pretty much no learning curve. I guess if you know how to use a belt, you know how to use a belt, whether it's lever or whether it's, I don't know, what do you call those? Just prong belt, I suppose. But this 720 moved better than the 705 the week before. Very happy about that. I'll have to decide if I'm going to go heavier on deadlift next week with singles or not. I may actually call it there and save the rest for the platform. At some point, you start getting into just a risky spot. You know, if you're going above your opener in training, you have to ask yourself why. And so that's something I'll think through over this next week. Finished up with actually more back off volume. Did 2 sets of 3 with 605, and I'm going to try and increase this back off work. If I am doing a lower intensity single, then I'm going to have to tax myself with some other weights. But these are safer, and I think they have a lot more volume involved, so I think they produce a better training stimulus in general. But that pretty much finished off the week, and 2 good weeks. Happy about it. Continuing on in 1 John 2, 9. Whoever says, I am in the light, while hating a brother or sister, is still in the darkness. Whoever loves a brother or sister lives in the light, and in such a person there is no cause for stumbling. But whoever hates a brother or sister is in the darkness, walks in the darkness, and does not know the way to go, because the darkness has brought on blindness. John, especially his epistles, you have the Gospel of John, then you have 3 letters from John that are in the New Testament. My goodness, such simple teaching, and yet so profound. I can't help but read this and just think about how simple the Christian life really should be, and how complicated some people make it. But how hard is it to love and respect other people? How hard is it to care for someone and put their needs at the same level as your own, to treat other people with the same respect that you would want to be treated with? I don't know, it just gets me sometimes. Here in America, some of you are abroad, but here in America, we've just had this presidential election. Our nation has never been more divided. Never has there been such continual and maintained hatred espoused on both sides, both towards Trump and towards Hillary, both throughout the presidential race and now afterwards. And I just sit down and I look and I'm just like, you know, you can disagree with somebody, but you can still love them. And I don't think many people know how to do that. A quick survey of YouTube comments will show you the same thing, that people who disagree with someone for some reason also feel that they then have to hate that entire person, and they have to really vilify them and just go off. And, you know, nothing is ever that black and white. There's always a reason people are doing things. You may disagree with the reason. You may think the reason is really bad. And I think some things are bad. I'm not a big Trump supporter. I don't think I've ever said that or promoted that on this channel. But I'm not against Trump. I hope Trump does well and leads the United States into an era of peace and prosperity. I hope that for every leader of every nation. That said, that doesn't mean that I agree with everything every leader of every nation has ever done. And sometimes leaders need to be held accountable for what they have done as well. It doesn't mean they get some sort of free pass. But I also don't agree with just maintain consistent hatred. And it doesn't matter whether that's directed towards people at the top of government or if it's directed towards marginalized groups in the society that don't have a voice. Hate is hate. And I just wish we could have more civil discussions. I wish people could be more open-minded and seek to understand before they seek to be understood. But I thought about that as I was reading through John, and how love for the brother and sister, in John's context, is love for the people who are members of the church, is so important and vital. And, you know, as the church is fractured, so the United States is fractured, and that divide seems to be getting stronger with each passing day. So my prayer goes out for the United States and for people everywhere to be slow to speak, to be quick to listen, to love their neighbor as they love themselves. In any case, hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Blessings.